Do you see any end in sight here?
I think this is going to be a story for quite some time. I think both the US side and the Chinese side, at least very publicly, are not showing desire to back down. On Beijing's side, we're gearing up to an important and secret annual meeting among Chinese leaders in a resort town called Beidaihe. That'll happen sometime in August, and after the party leaders meet to discuss some secret agenda that we know very little about, we might see more movement on the Beijing side because there might be a consensus, but it seems potentially unlikely that we'll see anything until perhaps right up to the midterms.
Now, in the meantime, you still have U.S. companies that are dying to get into China. You've got an op-ed out about Facebook, and you recommend that Facebook completely shut down or end its ambitions to enter China. Mark Zuckerberg has said it can't be a company that connects the world if China isn't part of it, but Facebook has been blocked in China for many, many years now. Why are you recommending this?
So in the op-ed that I did in the Washington Post, I recommend that Facebook give up on China because the costs of entering the Chinese market are very much outweigh the benefits. The reputational costs, Facebook would almost certainly have to share data with the Chinese government, and also the practicalities of doing so. They'd have to hire an army of censors. They would have to compete in a very, very competitive social media landscape, and it's really hard to see any way that Facebook can enter and succeed in the Chinese market without being a Chinese company, which bad for Facebook, bad for its consumers, and I would argue bad for the world.
Meantime, let's talk about what's bad for the world. Google has been secretly working on an app that could be used in China and would censor results. Many employees aren't happy about this. 8 years ago, Google took a stand and said, we're leaving the country because you are going to make us censor our results. And now this. What do you make of this?
I think it's probably to Google's executive chagrin that this story leaked and The Intercept was able to do such a great story on this. I do think it is quite troubling that the company that has done more in the tech world to stand up for free speech and censorship and anti-censorship values when it comes to China is now bowing to the demands of trying to serve a large, healthy market of 1.4 billion people. And I think it's hard to see this as anything but a capitulation. It's certainly possible that Google will decide not to go forward with this, and it is positive for Chinese consumers who will likely get a better product and a less censored product than the top Chinese search engine right now, Baidu, but it's hard not to see it as anything but sad.
And quickly, in the midst of this trade war, is Beijing likely to make any concessions to Google at all, given the broader atmosphere right now?
I think they certainly might, because it would be a very good PR win for them. It normalizes normalizes China's political system if they have a company like Google, which is seen still as a representative of free speech, if it goes into China and acts like an international company would anywhere else in the world. So I think there could be a lot of good PR upsides for China to do this, and I think they could do it in such a way that they wouldn't fear Google was spreading sensitive information.
All right.
So, yeah.